Hello, my name is Loktinfengshui and this is my website. I hope you are well. We are going to talk about Bazi, as you can see here, Bazi for beginners, and this is the second videos. Today I'm going to spend a few minutes to talk about a bit of history and some great master in the past. So like everything, when we're going to study something, we want to know a bit of background of histories. So let's start. In the last video, I talked about there's a few names like Bazi, Four Pillars of Destiny, Chinese Astrology. In fact, there's another name very commonly used, is called Ziping Bazi. Ziping Bazi. Okay, Ziping. Ziping, he is a person. He's a person, and his surname is Shui. Shui Ziping. It is believed that he was born in the 950-ish, like 950, around that time. And in that time, in that history of the Chinese history, is called the Five Dynasty and Ten Kingdom, 五代十國. So after that period is Song Dynasty. So Xu Ziping, the very significant contribution to the Bazi is he set up the framework as today, set up the system as today. He changed the past reading method. The past, like in the Tang Dynasty, I'll talk about it. So he changed to focus on the day pillar instead of the yearly pillar, and he used the normal 5 elements instead of the Na Yin element to look at the chart. And he also, at that time, he wrote a book called Loktinfengshui. Okay. So Loktinfengshui is also a person, but I can't find information about him. So we just say he is a person who is very good at Bazi, and then Xu Ziping further explain his book. So prior to Xu Ziping, prior to that period, there were Tang Dynasty. In the Tang Dynasty, Tang, we talk about Tang Dynasty. The Tang Dynasty was 618 to 907, right? So if you know a bit of Chinese history, you know the year. That's AD, or nowadays some use of reference as CE. So in 807, there were a master. His name is Li Huizhong. Li Huizhong. He worked for the Tang government, and he wrote a book called Li Huizhong Ming Shui. Ming Shui means destiny or your life book, something like that. And this, in his book, he used the year pillar, and the year pillars Na Yin Wu Xing. Na Yin is Nap Yam. Na Yin means you assign an element to the pillar. For example, let's look at one example, like is Wu Wu Zi Wei. It's not fire. Wu is a year. So this is we'll talk about in the later video. And then the Gang Sen Yo Na wood. That's fire element. That's wood element. So it's the Na-yin. But in fact, see, this Geng Xin Xin Yu is metal. This metal element. Wu is earth. That's fire. That's earth as well. So how can we change to fire? Actually, not many books explains that, but they use the Na-yin method. So the Na-yin method still used today in some different schools, different teachings. And some times ago I met some client. They told me in Vietnam, in the Vietnam, they use this method to look at the compatibility of husband and wife. For example, let's say Wu is 1978, right? That's 1979, and that's 1980, 1981. So let's say a husband and wife. So this is like a male person, and that is a female person. So if that's fire, and that's wood. So if the Na-yin, the assigned element for the female is wood, and if for wood it will produce fire. So that means a good compatibility. That means the wife will always enhance or support the husband. That is the way I come across from client. They told me, and the kind from Vietnam. So I believe he told me that in Vietnam, most of the astrologers, they use this method to look at the compatibility, and whether it is accurate or not, I don't know. So because I don't use that. So with before Tang Dynasty, I believe as human being, we all to try to find out our destiny, and maybe before that they use just the animal sign. I don't know, because there's not many information I can find out, and this video may be some errors and omission as well. So if you know more that, I welcome you to tell me down the comment section, and I will appreciate that. So from Song Dynasty, in Song Dynasty, each dynasty they are great masters. Song Dynasty is from 970 to 970 or 960, around that time, 960, 970 to 1279. So in Song Dynasty, there's a very, very well-known, a well-known book, but the author may not be so well-known. The author his name is Kinh Tu or Jin Tu. He wrote a book called, if you for those who had read some books about astrology, Chinese astrology or Bazi, they will must have this name. It's called Loktinfengshui. Loktinfengshui. Tek means dripping, Tin means heaven, Shui means goodness. So dripping the goodness from heaven. So the book, later on, there's many masters who give their own explanation to this book, and particularly there's a couple of well-known masters annotates the Loktinfengshui, the book. So toward the Ming Dynasty, Song after, and then would be Ming, and in Ming Dynasty, Ming is 1368 to 1644. In Ming Dynasty, there's in between. There's Yun Dynasty as well, but there's a very short dynasty, only about 90 years. So there's not many information about this 4 pillar or astrology there. In Ming Dynasty, we have Lao Ba Wan. Man Man Ying, Shui Dai Sing, Zhang Nam. So these are 4 great masters in Ming Dynasty. Lao Ba Wan, he is the master of the Ming Dynasty. He helped the first emperor, Zhu Yunzheng, the first Ming emperor, to help to fight the Yun Dynasty, and he is the master of the nation. He wrote a few books, some Feng Shui books and prophecy books, and he also annotated the Loktinfengshui. Man Man Ying, he is also in Ming Chao is an officer as well. He retired at his 40s, and then he started research in astrology, Bazi, and then he wrote a book called something. So wrote this book, and this book still, we can still find it today. Shui Dai Sing. Most people, they mix up with Shui Dai Sing and Shui Ziping, Shi Ziping. We talk about the Ziping, right? Ziping area. Most people mix up, but in fact they're about 400 years apart. The reason why some people mix up is because Shui Dai Sing, he compiled a book, not really a wrote. He compiled. He took the Li Huizhong, Li Xuzhong, Ming Shui, Ziping, the Xu Ziping, the book. So a few books and some article written at that time, and he compiled into one book. And this book is called the Yun Hai Ziping. Yun Hai Ziping, Yun Hai Ziping means Yun means deep, D-E-E-P, deep, and Hai is like a sea, ocean, like deep ocean. Ziping means a lot of information. So you compile a book in there. Then that's why some people, because it's called Ziping, right? Some people thought Shui Dai Sing is Shui Ziping. So they're different. They're different person, and they're different era. They're about 400 apart. And then Zhang Nam, also known as Feng. And he wrote a book called Feng Tong Hao. Feng Tong Hao. So actually, Zhang Sanfeng, this guy, he is a Chinese medical doctor, and he also write other books as well. He's like write his book about like acupuncture, about how to use herbs, things like that. And then he liked astrology or Bazi, so he wrote this book. And then toward the Qing Dynasty, Qing is from Qing Dynasty is That's 1644 to 1911. So to Qing Dynasty. Qing Dynasty, there are a few great masters as well. The one is called Yam Tiqiu. Yam Tiqiu, he's a master who also annotate the Loktinfengshui, and this is the very popular one. Nowadays most of the people, they study 4 Pillar of Destiny or Bazi, they will study the version of Yam Tiqiu's Loktinfengshui. That's in Qing Dynasty. Then in Qing, there's also another guy. It's called Somehow Jim. He wrote a book called Ziping Bazi means the real meaning of as a bazi or something like that. So most books talk about it, stem branch, they combine, they clash, and they have their own explanation to it. And then after Qing Dynasty to the early 20th century, there's a few great masters as well. There's one called Yun Shu San and Shui. Another Shu is Shui Lok. So they are very well known, and they all actually, after some reason, they all went to Hong Kong, and Yun Shu-san also went to Taiwan as well. So they all have books, and the most productive guy is this Mr. Chui Lok. He wrote many books and further explain the Loktinfengshui from Yam Tiqiu, Ren Tiqiao, Loktinfengshui. He explained about the Ziping, Zhanqun, a lot of books. He further explained, interpret many books. So he has many books. And Yun Shu-san, he is actually a Chinese medical doctor as well. So he also writes books about Chinese medicine, acupuncture too. So nowadays there are many Bazi masters or scholars all over the world now, because now we have internet, YouTube channel, and also a lot of internet article about the Chinese astrology, Bazi. There you can go and do your research, your study. For me, I'm just someone try to contribute a little bit more information to you. The series is like Bazi for beginners, and I hope you can find something interesting here from the channel. I know this history is very maybe a bit boring, but we have to do it because a complete subject, we need to know a little bit more about the background. And from the next video, we'll starting to talk about the stems from the very beginning, like stem, the Jia, Yi, Bing, Ding, Wu, Ji, Gen, Xin, Ren, Gui. So I will stop here, and I hope you enjoy my video. If you can give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I see you next time. Bye bye.